Should the New York Knicks re-sign Mitchell Robinson?
Clock down to 7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a quick step! And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles. And bounces.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well, as we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be asking you guys a question. Let me know down below in the comment section. You can give your reasoning, or you can just answer yes or no. And the question is, should the New York Knicks re-sign Mitchell Robinson? I believe Mitchell Robinson is the most polarizing player on this New York Knicks roster. I feel like fans either love him or fans are just like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this guy. I don't know if it's because of his personality. Sometimes what he puts out there on Twitter, he puts some goofy stuff out there. I actually like that he's not afraid to be himself, even if he's in New York, and it cannot always be the brightest of thing to do because you're going to have so much coverage on you. And we don't know definitely if Mitch Robinson wants to return to the Knicks. Like, we've seen the weird things he puts on social media, just really puts it out there. Like, I don't remember it in quote, but it was pretty much summing up, the New York Knicks aren't letting me play my game. You know, because a lot of people think he's capable of shooting the three ball off the dribble just based off of some workout clips versus some guys that aren't in the NBA or might not even be college players, just some random pickup half court setting type of thing. I know he was capable of shooting in high school, but he's at the NBA level now, and he's really struggling from the charity stripe. That shows his touch right there. And I'm personally in the middle when it comes to Mitchell Robinson. I think he's a very solid player. Do I see future all-star down the road? I don't like to put ceilings on players, so I'm not going to answer that as of right now, because it all comes down to putting in the work and also the organization putting you in the position to be successful. And the rumor or the market right now is $12 to $13 million to re-sign a Mitchell Robinson. And I actually think that's a reasonable asking price on Mitchell Robinson's agency side of things, and that report actually came out in March. And I would actually do that if I'm being real with you guys. We're going to be getting into the strengths and weaknesses, because that's not a lot of money for a quality center, but the New York Knicks they'll have to change some things when it comes to the way they put together this roster, or they're going to have to maneuver some pieces if they really want this to work out and they're not stuck in the middle of nowhere. Because I feel like we're already limited on the offensive side of the basketball with Tom Thibodeau's bland offense of barely any moving. We know as long as Randall's here, the ball is going to be like sticking in his hands, and there's an inconsistency of ball movement. We saw when Julius Randle was out with the injury, the ball movement was beautiful. It was an unselfish brand of basketball. Randall's style of play does not fit with these young guys. And you know, Mitchell Robinson, he's not someone that has a mid-range shot. He's not someone that's capable of knocking it down from the outside. So the offense is already limited, and Mitchell Robinson's limited as an offensive player. We know what he's capable of. We're going to be getting into what he does provide offensively. And we already have a bland offense, like I mentioned. Mitchell Robinson's not versatile offensively, so I think what would fit the best is bringing in a versatile scorer of the basketball. That's a three-level score. Can dribble, penetrate, finish around the hoop, score from mid-range territory, score from the outside, set up his guys, you know. So we need another guy. We need a guy alongside RJ that can create and do a lot more than Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier, I look at him as a bench player. Obviously, he's starting because he's getting paid like a starter, and he's maybe our best option. You could say Grimes is better, but we know Tibbs is going to put the veteran out there on the floor, because it's going to be much easier for Mitchell Robinson to get buckets if there's another shot creator, because the offense will be less predictable. I feel like our offense is very predictable. And also, like, obviously, if we had a point guard would be great to set up a Mitchell Robinson. I feel like we don't have certain players on this personnel that can make the consistent reads quickly. He has really progressed towards the end of the season of making reads out there on the basketball floor, but just the little things of catching guys on your hip, like at the point guard position, not knowing what the point guard's going to do. RJ and him have a great connection, though. Quickly and him have a great connection, because we know Quickly's great at getting out in the open floor, or just doing a good job utilizing that pick and roll, lobbing it up to an Obi Top, and they have that great chemistry there. But you notice the best teams in the NBA, or the best teams that have these old school style of big man, they can afford to have that old school style of big men, because they either have superstar level talent or they have shot creators. And I feel like the New York Knicks don't have that level of consistency of shot creation out there on the floor. RJ Barrett's someone that could drive down the lane, attack, and finish around the basket. But he still has ways to go when it comes to pulling up from mid-range territory on a consistent basis. I know he's added that little turnaround shot, but at the end of the day, we've seen flashes of it, not consistency. We've seen him shoot the step back three, but it's not going in yet. I'm not going to say he'll never go in his NBA career, but Randall, we know the offense really is surrounded, or the offense is really built around Randall when he is healthy out there on the floor. Burks, he's not a true point guard. The offense is just an absolute shambles, like I mentioned with Tom Thibodeau. So you need to bring in a more unpredictable player on the offense side of the basketball. If it's through the draft, free agency, I'm not sure who that guy is because Mitchell Robinson's very limited. But obviously, let's talk about the strengths with Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, he's been a lot more disciplined on the defense side of the basketball. He's still gonna have games that he gets into foul trouble. Maybe he could be a little too jumpy, but he brings high level activity on the defense side of the basketball with his length, with his height, being 7'1". He's one of the best rim protectors in the league, averaging 1.7 blocks per game. Like dating back to his rookie year, this dude is a beast blocking the basketball. His just physical attributes or his physical tools are off the charts when he had, I believe he tied Porzingis' record. It was Porzingis or Patrick Ewing, the most blocks by like a New York Knicks rookie, or maybe in general, when he had 8 blocks versus the Orlando Magic, even though that was a very ugly game. But he's done a lot better job. Just he actually has had a career low in fouls, which is awesome. Like he's done a better job playing straight hands up fundamental defense, not always jumping for no reason. We see his capability. I'm not going to say he's an elite perimeter defender, but he has shown, like you could say, it's kind of dropped off since his rookie year, maybe due to some ankle injuries, due to some back injuries. Maybe he doesn't move as great as he did outside on the perimeter. He still moves solid, though. For a big man, he can defend outside the perimeter, and he can use that length to really disrupt shots. And he's one of the leaders, like at the big man position, of doing a great job defending shots outside on the perimeter and blocking those shots. We saw him block Kevin Durant's shot outside on the perimeter, one of the best. Like, he has one of the best shots, like, in the NBA. We know you could say he's 6'10", he's 7 foot, but he's such a high release point, so it was really rare to see Kevin Durant's shot get blocked. And another thing with Mitchell Robinson, it's obviously what he's able to do around the rim. He does a great job setting screens, or I'm not going to say screens are the best sometimes. That's kind of a weakness. He can get called for a lot of moving screens. His feet aren't set. He's kind of just not setting a hard screen. I do like Sims' screens better, but he does a good job setting the screen, rolling to the basket very hard, and you see an RJ find him more. He just brings a big target at the basket. Even if you're not the best playmaker on this New York Knicks team, when Mitchell Robinson is rolling to the basket, you could be any player. You're just like, I'm going to throw it up there because I know Mitchell Robinson is capable of getting it. So he's an athletic freak of nature. He can run the floor very well. It's just the pure athleticism that he relies on. And he's actually averaging a career high in rebounds, which he doesn't have any like sexy numbers when I'm reading it off to you. It's mostly the little things that he brings to the table, and that is the thing though. Doesn't put up any star level numbers. He is limited, but averaging 8.4 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, shooting 75% from the field because when he's in the dunker spot, he's just absolutely unbelievable. 1.8 blocks per game, and then 2.7 fouls per game, which is a career low. But that second jump is unbelievable. It really is. Like, he gets offensive rebounds like crazy. I do think he has to do a better job boxing out and not always utilizing his athleticism. But yeah, that's a question. When it comes to Mitchell Robinson, what's the longevity with his game if he doesn't develop that outside shot? Like, when his athleticism kind of like tails off, is he going to be like how DeAndre Jordan is now? Obviously, DeAndre Jordan is much older, but I feel like he's going to have to expand his game if he wants to be in the NBA a lot longer. It's going to be hard to always rely on this freakish athleticism. You're going to have to work on your basketball IQ and just other things out there on the floor. So Mitchell Robinson, the potential doesn't look great with the outside shot. He shoots under 50% from the free throw line. And going back to like not having the best of offensive versatility, it's not just a jump shot. He doesn't have a hook shot in his bag. It's really, really rare when you see him have like a drop step, or you'll see a spin move like once in a blue moon. It's really rare. But is Mitchell Robinson going to work on these things? Like, he talked about how he's going to work on this hook shot, or he worked on this hook shot replying to someone on Twitter. We haven't seen it once this season. We've already seen Jericho Sims use it. But I feel like what's holding some people back from wanting to re-sign this guy is the offensive versatility. It kind of puts a ceiling on this team if we don't get a shot creator next to RJ. Because if it's just Fournier, RJ, like, obviously the point guard position must change, which I really think it's going to change. Like, it's just a very low ceiling on this team. We need more offensive creation. That's what hurt us in the playoffs and other things, obviously. But a point guard could really help Mitchell Robinson. I feel like you have to have the right personnel around him. We need to get another star, or at least a potential young star, or whoever we end up acquiring. I know some people still have Bradley Beal aspirations, but I do think Mitchell Robinson's a solid player. He doesn't put up these sexy numbers. That's why you got to put the right pieces around him, in my opinion. And obviously, there's the concerns with the injuries. Like I said, ankle injuries, back injuries. He broke his foot last year, but he's actually shown to stay healthy. Knock on wood, he's on pace to play 75 games this season. Let me know down below in the comment section, would you re-sign Mitchell Robinson? Again, I appreciate what he brings to the table with the offensive rebounds, the amazing putbacks, his athleticism, his ability to roll to the basket, just being that big-time target. But yeah, let me know down below your thoughts, and peace out, y'all.